WWE Bad Blood review, Bad Blood 2024, the pay-per-view just went off the air. Um, Welcome back to my channel. I just want to say thank you for watching. Thank you for hit that like button, leave a comment, please subscribe to my channel. Enjoy this video. This is Jacob Cast 2024. I'm gonna do my review for the pay-per-view. We're gonna talk about what happened tonight on the show. We're gonna talk about what we think could happen on Raw and SmackDown. I thought it was a okay show, it's a decent show. I feel like now before I go into my prediction, before I talk about the show, I'm gonna talk about I want to show you the other podcasters first. My video was sponsored by Solomonster Sound Off, JD from New York, Fightful Wrestling, The Wrestling Inc., Post Wrestling, Good Might Work Commentaries. Might will show you guys Solomonster first, and I'll show you guys JD's.
Place off the air tonight, which I'm going to talk about that in a second. But here I am getting ready to talk about this show and a very big event that occurred at the very end of the show, and then I turn and I see that something else happened. Why it happened off camera and not on the show is a whole other question. But Kevin Owens attacks Cody Rhodes out in the parking lot right outside of Cody's bus during the press conference. While the press conference is going on the inside, Kevin Owens lays a beatdown on Cody Rhodes. Then I think he drove off. And that's all I saw here before I came on with all the views. So, wow, there's a lot going on right now. What I was going to say is that it was 27 years ago tonight, October 5th, 1997. The WWE debuted an event called Bad Blood in your house. And for the very first time, they had a little main event called Hell in a Cell, which was Shawn Michaels against The Undertaker, still to this day, one of the greatest matches in WWE history, and the greatest Hell in a Cell match out of all the Hell in a Cell matches, all 50 plus, that they have done since 1997. So WWE decided that in honor of the anniversary here, 27 years later, they were going to bring back Bad Blood with another Hell in a Cell match, which is what we had here tonight with CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. And he was on a podcast, Punk was, just last week. And CM Punk had this to say. He said, I want to bring the cell back to what it is supposed to be. I don't want to have a cell that needs a match. I want to have a match that needs the cell. And I feel like me and Drew have done that. Mission accomplished. These two men went out there tonight with a goal to have the best possible blow-off to this year-long feud that they could possibly have, and they accomplished just that. And CM Punk has not had very many matches here since coming back to WWE. And he's had his injury past, worry about that, what condition is he going to be in. He goes out there tonight with Drew McIntyre, and they tore the house down and had it's not even contestable, the match of the night. They went out there, they did that stipulation proud, they did that whole match proud. You know, Punk wanted to bring back Hell in a Cell to what it used to be. Because for so long, Hell in a Cell, it was literally a pay-per-view. They named a pay-per-view after it. And it just became the thing to do every single year, whether or not there was a feud worthy of actually having a Hell in a Cell match. Oh, it's Hell in a Cell time. Got to do Hell in a Cell. Well, we don't really have a match that really needs it, but we got to do Hell in a Cell. And they killed it. For the longest time, Hell in a Cell was dead. Wasn't what it used to be. Tonight, this felt more like Hell in a Cell than Hell in a Cell has felt in many, many years. And that's a credit to both those guys who went out there and they bled, they beat the living shit out of each other, and we got a proper blow-off to what really has been the feud of the year in WWE. All the social media sniping, all the promos, the war of words back and forth, battles that these men have had, and it all culminated in a match tonight that I thought delivered on every level. And that was easily the best thing on the entire show. And yet, that match did not close the show tonight. They actually opened with Hell in a Cell. They did not close with Hell in a Cell. And the more things change, the more they stay the same. You remember in 2011, CM Punk sat on that stage and he whined and complained about how sick to his stomach he was. That Dwayne was getting the main event of WrestleMania the following year and not him. Makes me sick that Dwayne is getting the WrestleMania main event. Here we are now in 2024, and yet again, CM Punk is cheated out of his main event because of Dwayne. Because indeed, the big surprise came at the very end of the show, and it was the return of the final boss, The Rock, for the first time since the night after WrestleMania. Made his return, walked out on stage. He had his People's Championship belt over his shoulder. It's almost like he just carried that thing around with him for the last 6 months and didn't let it out of his sight. And he walked out. He didn't have anything to say, but he may have said more with a simple throat slash than he could have said in any promo he could have done. And then he turned around and he walked off to the back. That was quite the cliffhanger that they left us with. And very interesting timing here as we head into Survivor Series next month and War Games. And a lot of talk and a lot of discussion about what the War Games match may look like, whether or not it's going to involve the Bloodline. Is it going to be a Bloodline Civil War? I'm not even sure they have enough people to make a Bloodline Civil War work. But we still have another 7 weeks, or maybe 8 weeks, whatever it is. 6 or 7 weeks until we get to Survivor Series. So a lot can happen in that time. But the timing is very interesting. And then, as I said, as I came on the air here, I see that Cody Rhodes out in the parking lot is attacked by Kevin Owens. Now, we can call it a heel turn. We don't know. It could just be, we don't know the nature of the they were having. There's video of them talking, and then all of a sudden Kevin Owens just starts beating the shit out of him. And obviously we'll find out on TV this upcoming week what the nature of that disagreement was. So it may be a case where Kevin Owens just lost his cool. He shows up on SmackDown and he apologizes to Cody. Or maybe this was a full-fledged heel turn. I don't know. It's very odd that we've been getting teases now for weeks on TV. And then they go and shoot the angle off camera like this. But then again, everybody is talking about it. Everybody's going to be talking about it leading into SmackDown on Friday. Maybe that was the point, to generate a lot of buzz and a lot of attention. But a very odd choice to do something like that and not do it in front of the SmackDown audience, where this story has been on TV now for the last couple of months. Everything in between 2 matches that I mentioned, Hell in a Cell and that tag team main event with Roman and Cody teaming for the first time, everything in the middle of the show, very underwhelming. Very underwhelming. This was the very definition of a 2-match show. That's it. That Bad Blood was about the opener and the closer. That's it. Everything else in between was very forgettable and could have easily taken place on TV and not on a PLE. They were also hyping a historic announcement by Triple H. Yeah, it's a tough thing anytime you use a word like that, man. You hype something up, you throw that word around. This is going to be groundbreaking. This is going to be game-changing. This is going to be historic. You better deliver with something big. They didn't. It is historic in that it's not been done before, but was it worthy of all the hype that's been going around the last few hours? No. But Triple H did make an announcement concerning Crown Jewel. And I'm going to be talking about what that announcement was because it has implications for both Raw and SmackDown. And as part of this segment, not only did we get a cameo by Gunther, the World Heavyweight Champion, who did not have a match on the show, we had a cameo appearance by Bill Goldberg. The same Bill Goldberg that Gunther only a few weeks ago when he was in the ring with Bret Hart said was the wrestler of all time. Yeah, that Bill. What is this guy, like fucking Beetlejuice? You say his name enough times and he appears, the fucking Joe Hendry? There he is, sitting in the front row tonight with his son Gage and his wife. They're in Atlanta, they're in his backyard, he's hopping the barricade, he's trying to get at Gunther, and I'm thinking, oh my, no, don't even think about it. Yeah, there was a lot going on this show tonight. We got a lot to get into here. This is your Bad Blood 2024 review. I'm the Solid Monster. Like, That I don't like. Him I don't like. Reading and acknowledging every single one of them. Subscribe if you are new here. Also like. I don't know what was going through their head half the fucking time with some of the decisions that they would make. Thankfully, that's in the past. Feels, you know what feels wrong though? So I'm pretty sure this was the first one we had like this. Having a Hell in a Cell match with the Prime logo right in the middle of the ring. I don't know. There's something wrong about that. I know these UFC in the logo, right? Look, it's right there. Bad Blood. How are you going to have a show called Bad Blood and a Hell in a Cell and not have blood? You have to. If ever there was a time to have blood, I'm not a fan of doing blood all the time. But if ever there was a time that warranted it, this is it. And so here's CM Punk. He's bleeding, and it was enough that you could see there was like a little small pool of blood on the floor outside. He's got his head, it's dripping down his chest. McIntyre smashed the steps into his head and then stomped his head onto the top part of the ring steps. So then McIntyre is yelling at Punk. He says that I'm going to end your career. Your wife is going to leave you. No AJ cameo. They're keeping AJ out of this. Punk has said that AJ doesn't even watch the show. It's like she really doesn't even know what's going on. So anybody thinking that we might get an AJ cameo, I thought there was a chance. Like earlier in the feud, I thought maybe when they get to the right, you see blood all the time. And yeah, you watch like he reaches over and he picks up the wrench that's laying on the mat. And he starts whacking Punk in the back with it until sense of security here. And he delivered a low blow instead. McIntyre then grabbed the black pouch, presumably with thumbtacks in it. Because usually when you see the sack, when the sack comes out, it's got thumbtacks inside. Only this time there were no thumbtacks. Ass, whether it was his lower back, it looked like it absolutely sucked to take that. Punk wrapped a chain around his knee and he shoved it. And I was getting flashbacks here to the NXT match. Was it the street fight with Wesley? And they made great use of the stipulation. Again, Punk said coming into this match, he wanted to restore Hell in a Cell to its past glory. He wanted this match to become very similar to what it used to be, but what it had gotten away from being. Restoration complete. Consider it restored. I thought they did a fantastic job. This was an excellent match. And guess what? They didn't have to leave the cell. Even like Shawn and Undertaker did in the first one. They didn't even have to do that. They didn't have to take some wild bump, off the top of the cage. So they were able to make use of everything from within the confines of the cell itself. Even the beads, the part with the beads, I liked it just because it played into the bracelet. I know some people thought it was goofy. They overused the bracelet, but it played into the bracelet being such a central part of the story. It made a lot of sense for them to do what they did there. You could hear the crowd reacted to it when he poured all the beads, on top of Punk. So the symbolism there I thought was important. But again, both men promised to make the other bleed, and they delivered on that promise. One where it is appropriate, and it really adds a lot. It can be very effective. To 3. Let's hope we can improve that to 4 next time. Go get it. What's next for CM Punk? It may well be Gunther. It may well be the World Heavyweight Championship. There was talk about possibly them doing that match at Survivor Series, one-on-one, Punk and Gunther. presuming that Gunther is in fact going to beat Sami Zayn on Monday, which I fully expect. I fully expect him to, or at least whatever the actual finish is. Sami Zayn's not going to win the World Heavyweight Championship on Monday. So it could very well be punking Gunther for the world title. We'll see. For McIntyre, very clear what I think should be done and what I would do. I think that this feud between these two got so heated and so personal and so just full of vitriol that it's a situation where these two men can't coexist together on the same brand at the same time. Drew McIntyre, I think, needs to leave, and I think he needs to be on SmackDown. And you can do that by facilitating a trade. I've floated Drew McIntyre to SmackDown, AJ Styles to Raw. Looks like they're doing a different story now, an injury angle that's going to lead into some kind of a story possibly where AJ is questioning whether or not he can continue, and maybe this is his final run. He's going to retire soon. I don't know where that story is going to go. So they may not do that. But I do think that because there is a need for more heels on the SmackDown side, I think it would be best for McIntyre to end up on Friday nights. I don't know if that's what WWE is going to do, but that is the move that I would. Look at Richie Rich over here. Drop. Maybe his body can't take it anymore. Maybe 2025 will be his last one. It's Samoa Bro. Maybe John Cena and AJ Styles will have their last year in 2000. A mocking thumbs up. I like the fact that Bianca still does not like Bayley, even though Bayley's been a big. She moved and Nia crashed into the steel steps. Nia came back, powerbombed Bayley on top of the steps, and then tossed her into the barricade. Nia followed with a Samoan. Pick up the referee, trying to wake up Jessica. Jessica gets up, looks up. Tiffany has her head turned. She turned back to go look at Nia. She in, right? So now the referee has a hold of the briefcase. And at that moment, Nia does the Undertaker zombie sit-up. And she looks up, and what does she see? She sees Tiffany Stratton in the ring. She sees the Money in the Bank briefcase in her hand and also in the hands of the referee. And so she puts two and two together, and she's like, wait a minute. What's going on here? So Nia confronts Tiffany, who tries to explain the situation. Bayley uses this distraction to roll up Nia for a very close near fall. Bayley goes to the top rope, and Tiffany chucks the briefcase at her. Bayley throws it back, but that momentary distraction allows Nia Jax to get back up, as she delivers a Samoan drop to Bayley off the middle rope. And then Nia follows with the Annihilator, and she pins Bayley to retain the Women's Championship. They were put in a very tough spot. I think that these two women did the best they could. It was not always pretty. There were definitely some rough moments in this match. But I didn't think it was boring or anything like that. You know, the match that Bayley had with Nia, I guess it would have been at SummerSlam. I don't remember thinking that match was anything terribly exciting. I don't really think I liked that. I won't say that this was boring. You know, it wasn't boring. It just wasn't very good. I thought it was an average match with a finish that was done in a way that it protects Bayley in defeat. This is the distraction, right? That's the only reason Bayley lost, is because she took her eye off the ball. Tiffany was, I was thinking it would happen. I was kind of hoping that it would happen tonight. And it did not happen. They're going to drag this thing out even longer. It just, you know what it feels like to me? Especially seeing what they did tonight. It just makes me wonder if all they're doing is stalling. And they're stalling until the other queen is ready to come back, which honestly should be any month. This week on TV that we get Charlotte Flair back. We know it's coming very soon. It feels to me like maybe they're stalling. They're waiting for Charlotte to make her return, and that she's going to factor into this in some way. You know, the whole queen thing with Nia, and then maybe they'll do something with Tiffany. I hope so. If that's what they're waiting for, then I hope it does happen. I hope it happens. I hope it comes back. Because how many more months of these teasers with Nia are we supposed to get before you just have to make a move? You know, otherwise it just becomes very uninteresting. It's already kind of uninteresting, to be honest with you. But you knew that Bailey promising Naomi a shot at the championship when she won. That's putting the cart before the horse. You don't do that. And you knew that Bailey was not going to win that title, and she didn't. And so poor Naomi now, after getting her hopes up, she was going to be next in line for a shot at the championship. She's not getting anything as he came off the top. And it was a wicked shot. And the announcer sold it huge. Balor sold it great. Priest sold it like he hurt his hand. Balor took control. Priest, though, fought back with some. He's back. They used to call Bray Wyatt the eater of pins when he would lose all the time. Finn Balor reared his head again here on this show. This would have been a perfectly fine Monday Night Raw match. That's what this would have been. I think for a big PLE match like this, they've been building to how long have they been building, right? This story, this match, Balor and Priest is something that could have been a WrestleMania match if the timing, if the time of year was a little bit different. I don't think anybody would have looked at it and said, that's not a WrestleMania match, because the story has been building and building and building for a very long time with these two. I expected more out of this. And what we ended up getting was really nothing special. I think the match was fine. It wasn't a bad match. But it also wasn't anything terribly special. And Priest wins. So I'm not really sure where they go from here, because the babyface won. And he won fair in that he had to fight off a bunch of other people to get the job done. And then he just beat him. So, I mean, how does that make Finn Balor look, right? I mean, had Balor stolen the win with a little bit of assistance from the Judgment Day, it's like, all right, well, Damian Priest is going to be out for his revenge win, right? They're going to run this back again. They're probably going to run it back anyway. But when the babyface just wins in the first match, it's like, well, what's the point, right? He won. We saw him win. Now what?
Is the feud over?
I don't know.
It might be over.
All the interference, though, Finn Balor still couldn't get the job done. Hence, Finn Balor. Triple H was out to the ring next to make his historic announcement that they were hyping all night. They wouldn't shut up about it. In the ring, they had a podium with the Crown Jewel logo on it. And clearly, there was a championship belt. It was hidden under a tarp, so we couldn't see it. He said, it's hard to believe that it's been 30 years since he was living here in this city right up the road on Windy Hill. He also said that he was terrorizing WCW in this city back in the day. Haha. Chester had to trample right over that bomb. So it's good to hear from you here tonight. Let me get into what I was saying here was Triple H was running down some of his accomplishments. Another new record. Interestingly, I don't think they bother releasing the actual numbers anymore. So they tell us that it's a new record, but I don't WWE. An annual event that will take place with Crown Jewel, where their reigning WWE champion will take on whomever the reigning world heavyweight champion is in a one-on-one match, and that is both the men and the women. So you're going to have two sets of champions on either side colliding at Crown Jewel. None of their titles will be on the line. However, the winners will be crowned the definitive Crown Jewel champions. And this is what the championship belt looks like, at least for the men. I don't know if the women's may have a white, backing and white strap, but this is the title that they unveiled here on the show tonight. And there it is, the Crown Jewel Championship, 50 carats in diamonds, they claim, that will signify the winners as the best of the best. So basically, it is a trophy belt. Remember the green belt they gave to Braun Strowman when he won the greatest Royal Rumble and then it was never seen ever again?
Yeah.
That's what this is. This is a trophy. This is like their continental title in AEW, right? They have their once a year continental title tournament. And instead of just making the tournament for a shot at the AEW World Heavyweight Championship, they just created a new title. So now they've created their own annual event, and that's what it looks like. So Gunther came to the ring, the World Heavyweight Champion, who did not have a match on the show tonight. And he asked Atlanta what bad blood would be without the World Heavyweight Champion. And he said that much the same way that Triple H handed him the King of the Ring trophy the last time they were in Saudi Arabia, he will be doing the same with the Crown Jewel title when he awards the championship to Gunther. Shout out to Leo Franco for becoming a sound-off legend. That reminds me, hey, Fire Panda. Oh, we have a whole bunch. Oh, you know, I didn't. Starboy Bebop, you know, looking at the Crown Jewel title that I just showed you. I'm just saying. Our Crown Jewel champion is Zilla Fatu. Type in Zilla Fatu Crown Jewel champion. Purdy's. We're going to have to talk about this. Oh, there's Billy Boy. Bill Goldberg in the front row with his son Gage, who is so much bigger than he was the first time that we saw him, the Survivor Series in 2016. Yeah, it doesn't even feel like it was that long ago, right? That first match with Goldberg and Brock, well, not their first match, but the match with Goldberg and Brock, the first match they had when Goldberg came back. And then Goldberg brought his son into the ring, and poor kid had his shirt off. He's probably picked on at school and everything. I mean, my God, that'd be like my nightmare. If I got pulled into the ring like that as a child, shirtless in front of the world. But he's just this little kid. And now he's like a star football player. I don't know what school he plays at, but I think he might play for Dion. I think he might play for Dion. Gunther wanted to clarify what he said a few weeks ago to Bret Hart when he told Bret that Bill Goldberg was his favorite pro wrestler of all time. He clarified that that was not true.
Then they teased the Bill Goldberg.
How could the greatest wrestler on earth be impressed with a one-trick beat like Goldberg? This is a valid question. So the crowd chanted for Goldberg. Gunther said that he was just busting balls. Just that he should have done it like in The Sopranos. Just breaking balls here. We're just breaking balls here. God, every time I say that, I just think of that scene out at the construction site when they're ribbing each other, and then that guy takes that glass and just smashes it right in that guy's face. God. Oh my God. Anyway, sorry, I lapsed into my Sopranos moment. Gunther said though that he did have some serious advice for Goldberg's son. He really hopes for him that Bill is a better father than he is a professional wrestler. So you can see Gage whisper into his father's ear to he'll beat his ass. And Goldberg stood up and he was really angry. And he hopped the barricade. Gunther told him to come on, and security rushed over to Goldberg as he took his jacket off. Here comes Adam Pearce. He's trying to calm the situation down, calm tensions down as best as he possibly can. And the army of security geeks are holding Goldberg back. Gunther is taunting him in the ring, and his back is turned. And he doesn't see that who snuck into the ring behind him but Sami Zayn. And Sami Zayn attacks him, knocks him out of the ring. He ended up leaving the ring. He went out after Gunther, and he had to be separated from him by security geeks and officials. This was all just an angle that was done to set up the World Heavyweight Championship match and put more heat on that and excitement on seeing Sami challenge for the title on Raw on Monday night, because they're main eventing the show with the two of them for the World Heavyweight title. And back in the ring, Triple H held Goldberg's arm up as he posed to his music, and he went to the corner and he posed. So there you go. There it is. Goldberg wanted his big retirement moment in WWE. It wasn't a match, but you know what? You got your moment in Atlanta, your old stomping grounds, right? Former Atlanta Falcon, former WCW champion, right in your backyard. Your family in the front row. Triple H raising your arm in the middle of the ring. And you were spared. Because if you end up in the ring with Gunther, you're going to get the shit chopped out of you, my friend. So this was his moment. He should be very happy. He can ride off into the sunset now. This was a fine moment for Goldberg in front of his family. What I don't need to see is Gunther against Goldberg, which I have no doubt in my mind that had they not come up with this crown jewel concept, they would be doing this match in Saudi Arabia. But we know they're not because Gunther is going to be preoccupied. He's going to be occupied with Cody Rhodes, and they're going to be going one, which is an interesting match. You remember when Cody came back from the torn pec? We basically got a full match at the end of that Royal Rumble. They were in the ring together for like 10 or 15 minutes, I think, in the closing moments of that Royal Rumble match. So we've seen Cody and Gunther in the ring before, and most likely that will be our match at Crown Jewel.
Holy shit, man! Thank God.
But yeah, the Goldberg thing, it's not something that I have any interest in seeing at all.
Because fuck Bill Goldberg. He's old, past his prime, can't wrestle. Nobody asked for Bill Goldberg. No one wants to see him in the ring. Goldberg is a waste. So thank God that they're doing Gunther and Cody Rhodes and this champion versus champion for this new Crown Jewel Championship. If they didn't have this, then we would gotten Bill Goldberg. Because in Saudi Arabia, the Prince loved Bill Goldberg. They were giving them that extra paycheck. Who knows how much they paying them? So thank God they're not getting that match. But who knows? It could happen somewhere. I don't know when. It could want the rest of one more match. Oh, I hope not.
Triple H gave him a nice moment, despite all of his comments that he's constantly making about the company. And a novelty to it at first few years. And unless you have something really engaging or you have some way to really make it,
Let me find out Goldberg.
First with your world champions, because the worst thing that you can do, and they did it every single year, right? And we got some great matches out of it. Brock Lesnar and AJ Styles, Brock Lesnar and Bryan Danielson. Those were great matches. Those were some of Brock's best matches of his career. That second run that he had was against Danielson and against AJ. You had Roman and Big E. Of course, Big E got beat. You're always going to have to beat the other champion. And I just don't see what's really gained from that. How does that help the champion who ends up losing? That's the big drawback when you do stuff like this. And that's what they're going to be doing again here. I just think.
Because Gunther shouldn't lose. Gunther been on a roll right now. He's been dominant. He should not be losing as being world champion. Cody Rhodes shouldn't be losing. Cody Rhodes should actually get screwed. I don't know if it's going to be Kevin Owens or Randy Orton or if The Rock going to come back. But I think Cody Rhodes will get screwed.
But one of the reasons I got sick of it was the timing of the draft was usually in October. And so you're going to have brand warfare at Survivor Series, Raw versus SmackDown, and everybody's walking around in their red shirts and their blue shirts. And it's like, we've got brand loyalty. Motherfucker, you were just drafted to the show 4 weeks ago. Don't give me loyalty. Loyalty my ass. It was stupid. But you end up with a bunch of meaningless matches. Thank God they got away from that concept and they put it on the back burner. Now we have War Games. And I'll tell you what, with War Games, and I'm glad we finally get War Games on the main roster, I feel the same way about War Games. I'm not so sure about this. We'll see in the next few weeks what they have up their sleeve with it. But I'm a believer that if you don't have a compelling enough story, feud that really belongs in War Games, that should be contested in War Games, then you don't do War Games. You skip a year. Come back to it the following year. Not a fan of just doing certain types of matches just for the sake of doing it. The Royal Rumble. You know what? Of course, you do the Royal Rumble every year. Of course, Money in the Bank. Frankly, even that is a concept I think could go away for a while.
Yeah.
But okay, you do Money in the Bank because there's something on the line every year, right? The winner gets a guaranteed contract. The Royal Rumble, the winner gets a guaranteed championship match or WrestleMania. The Elimination Chamber, typically, if it's not for a title, the winner gets a guaranteed title shot at WrestleMania. In War Games, you don't have that. In War Games, it's just War Games. And you either have the match that fits or you don't. So even something like that, I'm a big believer that you only do it when you absolutely have to. They don't do Raw versus SmackDown anymore at Survivor Series, so they came up with a draw for one of their Saudi shows. How much of a draw it really is going to be, that remains to be seen. I don't know. But you know what? If they want to gimmick up one of the Saudi shows, and this is what they've come up with, it doesn't bother me, other than the fact that you're going to have to beat one of your champions, which is not an ideal thing to be.
I just find it to be lazy. Do we need Cody Rhodes and Gunther? Now who's gonna win that? Cody Rhodes can't lose. Gunther can't lose. Nia Jax and Liv Morgan, they can't lose. I think Liv Morgan should lose. Maybe Rhea gets involved in the match. Nia's not gonna lose. He's actually been doing good with the titles. He's been on the best one so far. So I think Nia Jax is gonna win. I think the heel over. Wait, hold on. Liv Morgan and Nia Jax, they're both heels. Liv Morgan's a heel. Nia Jax is a heel. So heel versus heel. Who's gonna care about that? I mean, obviously Nia Jax will win. Terry Stratton may get involved. That's why things should happen. Maybe Cody gets screwed if the Rock gets involved. I don't know. Or Kevin Owens. I don't know. We gotta wait and see. But I find it to be lazy. I think the reason why they're doing it because they don't know what to do with their champions. If they didn't have this, then who would Cody will face at Crown Jewels? They really have a major problem with booking new challengers and new feud for their champions. After Cody will get done with Kevin Owens and this feud with the Bloodline, what's next for him? Not gonna be Kevin Owens again. It could be Randy Orton, but I guess they want to wait on that. And Gunther, what Gunther gonna do? After beat Sami Zayn, what's he gonna do? What's next for him? They did tease Braun Breaker. They also teased CM Punk. But I don't think CM Punk gonna be thrown into a title match so soon. Maybe Braun Breaker, he could have done that for Crown Jewels. Or Seth Rollins, but he drew with Bronson Reed. So, man, they have a hard time booking new challengers for your champions.
But I'd rather they do it at Crown Jewel than do it at Survivor Series. So hey, I'll pick my battles where I can. Dirty Dominic Mysterio, locked away in a shark cage above the ring, or so we thought, above the ring. Then I realized, wait a minute, there's a cell hanging from above the ring. How are they going to hang a shark cage? The answer is they're not. They're going to hang it in the aisleway, and that's what they did. Dominic drove a lowrider onto the stage with Liv in the passenger seat. They exited the car. They headed to the ring. The shark cage, like I said, it was placed above the aisleway because it just physically could not be above the ring. It just wasn't going to work. So Dominic was very hesitant to enter the shark cage, as anybody would be, especially me. Great example of how music can really make such an impact on a movie. It looked very concerned, and it looked like he was almost going to try to crawl out or jump out. All of a sudden, Dominic falls out of the shark cage. And there's a moment here for about a split second where I got a good scare. I will not lie to you. But they did a good job of rigging up this spot here, because what happens is he's tied by, I think it was a chain, not a rope. It was either a rope or a chain, whatever it was, to his leg. So he falls out of the cage, but now he's hanging upside down by his leg. So, I mean, it was a pull Morgan on top of Ripley for a cover. I'm not sure why, because the bell's already rang. Judgment Day basically imploded. We have this new version now, this whatever it was, to his leg. So this is doomed for this kid, right? Very clever spot though, once you realize that he's dead with the kendo stick. All of a sudden, Raquel Rodriguez hits the scene and she attacks Rhea Ripley from behind, and the referee calls for the bell for the disqualification. Rodriguez plants Ripley with a Tejana bomb, and she places Liv Morgan on top of Ripley for a cover. I'm not sure why, because the bell's already rang and the match is over. So I don't know why she did. I'm watching this. I'm like, oops. You trying to give her the visual pin? I don't know, but the match was already over. And then Raquel didn't really celebrate, but she picked up Liv when the match was over, made it very clear that she was there to uh, watch Liv Morgan's back. She was there as a friend to Liv Morgan. For a match with this much build, and for what was, for a period of time this summer, truly the hottest feud on Monday Night Raw. You could say Punk and McIntyre, but Punk wasn't there every week, so there were lulls in that story. Rhea and Liv was hot as hell as a story on Raw for a while. Their videos on social media were racking up millions and millions of views. And so it was really the hot thing on the show. And so when you consider that, it's definitely cooled off from that. People still react, to the segments, like especially with Rhea when she's on Raw. It's not that people don't care anymore, but it's not what it was a few months ago. Because it's gone on now for a very long time. And it's gone through a few different, you've had a few different twists and turns in the story. The Judgment Day basically imploded. We have this new version now, this kind of wish version of the Judgment Day. It's not the same thing. It's definitely cooled off, but the match should have been a bigger deal than it was, and it fell flat. And the finish fell very flat too. The match itself was okay. The problem with the match was it had no heat. It was definitely not the match they had at SummerSlam. So the match had virtually no heat. Raquel got no reaction when she showed up. And I don't blame Raquel, because here's the thing. She has been gone for a long time. We have not seen Raquel Rodriguez on TV since February. Okay, the last time we saw her was right around Elimination Chamber. She might have been on TV for a week or so after that, and then she vanished. And we have not seen her since then. I don't think that most people even recognize who she was. I would not at all be shocked, and I'm not exaggerating when I say this, if at least half the crowd in the building didn't even know who she was, or didn't recognize when she showed up. They didn't recognize who she was. Not that she looked any different. She looked exactly the same. It's not like she has a fucking face tattoo like Mike Tyson or something, or she's wearing a mask. But I really don't think that most people even knew who this woman was. So they didn't really react. And then the other people who did know who she was just didn't give a shit. So it got no reaction.
Yeah, because she's not being used. She hasn't been on TV lately. And now I hope that this is a new character renewal, like they changed her character, take her seriously. No more smiley, Raquel, no more no more of that bullshit. I mean, we work her character, make her serious, make her angry, like she needs to be a heel. Hope they give her a new entrance.
I picked Liv to retain in my predictions earlier in the week. I picked Liv to retain, and this is why. Because this is exactly what I thought they might do. They might have Raquel, because there was talk that Raquel might be on her way back soon. And that was weeks ago. And I thought, well, if she is going to come back soon, what do with her? Where could they plug her in? Well, just look at the history that she has with the people involved. She has history with both of these women. She was at one time friends with Rhea Ripley in NXT, and then they became enemies. On the main roster, she was tag team partners with Liv Morgan. They were the women's tag team champions. And they had history with Rhea Ripley when Rhea was still a heel. So, if you're going to bring back Raquel, you want to give her the greatest opportunity that you can to find success and be involved in some kind of meaningful story on the show. Well, this is it. This is the biggest women's feud, women's program story that they have going on in the entire company right now. It is still Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan. So I can think of worse spots for Raquel to be in. She made a few phone calls and she brought in an old friend of hers. So I think as an idea, it makes sense. And now Rhea should have to run through Raquel first before getting, another rematch again. It is.
All right, now, oh wait, hold on. So that one's over. We got the full recap of Bad Blood. We have Nito Sato at the press conference. Black representing on the television. Triple H said, "Never say never about one more Bill Goldberg match." So clearly they're teasing it. Oh, I hope not. There's a Fightful. We did get AEW Collision, but we're not talking about that. We did get the press conference. It was only 37 minutes, it was very short. Cody Rhodes put me on it, but he got attacked by Kevin Owens. Hopefully we get the explanation. Kevin Owens turned heel. I hope so. We got just Alex.
Dwayne Sweetney gave it 8 out of 10.
Here's the Joe Cronin.
Main event Ace, thank you, bro. Group of scum suckers. Main event Ace, thanks for the $4.99. Shout out to the top donator, D Well. She dropped $100 earlier. You guys.
So all of a sudden, Sami Zayn came out to attack Gunther, but here I am going on some nice spiel about long-term booking and booking with feeling and booking with emotion. Thanks for making my entire speech at the beginning of WWE. This is not going to be defended at any show but Crown Jewel every November. Or competed for, I should say, every November.
Every November?
The winner would be crowned as the Crown Jewel Champion. WWE Championships held by their respective champions would not be on the line, but there would be a definitive winner. The Crown Jewel Championship was then unveiled. He pulls the black cloth off of the championship. It is a huge title, a very large title. He says it has 50 carats worth of diamonds. He only unveiled the men's. He did not unveil the women's. I can't imagine the women's is the same size as the men's. But I don't think this is going to be something that the men or women are going to be carrying around with him. This is specifically for Saudi and Crown Jewel. So Gunther, he comes out there. He said Bad Blood should have its world champion. Yes, his match with Sami Zayn should have been on this show instead of what we've been given up until this point, outside of CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. Gunther wanted to talk about the legends in the crowd. The crowd chanted for Goldberg, who was sitting in the crowd, front row, behind the commentary team with his son. Gunther mentioned his comment to Bret the Hitman Hart of WWE television all year. He said that was a lie. The best wrestler on earth couldn't be impressed by a one-trick pony like Bill Goldberg. Gunther looks over at Gage, Goldberg's son, and told Gage that Goldberg must be a better father than he ever was a pro wrestler. So this pissed off Bill Goldberg, who got up, took his hat off, took his jacket off, jumped the barricade, and a bunch of security guards were waiting there to stop Bill Goldberg from advancing any further into the ring. Adam Pearce is out there. So all of a sudden, Sami Zayn came out to attack Gunther, but officials and security got in between them. Gunther bailed. Crowd started chanting for Sami Zayn. Goldberg gets into the ring, being that Gunther is now retreated. Triple H raises Goldberg's hand, and he posed for the crowd. Now, the whole story about Bill Goldberg is he's been looking for that one big retirement match. Nobody was willing to give it to him. He looked overseas, potentially at another promotion that was having this superstar-studded show. I don't know if that show ever took place. He was going to go on a whole retirement tour and retire the way he wanted. He was very vocal about retiring, and Vince promising him one more match. As long as he got healthy and back into ring shape, I believe Vince says he would give it to him, and then Vince opted not to give it to him. I think that was the story. So Goldberg obviously took anger with WWE. He's very upset at WWE and the past administration for not really living up to their word. Go figure. Color me shocked. There were rumors that Bill Goldberg was in constant conversation with Tony Khan and AEW, potentially about coming on in and maybe having a retirement match there. I don't know where that would even fit in. Tony Khan offering Bill Goldberg an exorbitant amount of money to come on in and have a retirement match. I mean, please. I mean, we got enough fucking problems over there. Bringing in Bill Goldberg to AEW. I mean, you already have a ton of WCW fucking comparisons. You want to bring in Bill Goldberg, who was critically written off in the last few years of his WWE run. You want to bring that Bill Goldberg to AEW on top of all the other problems that you got? Doesn't sound like a sound move there, TK. I'm glad that did not happen. So I don't know what's happening here with Triple H. Did Triple H talk to Bill Goldberg? Is there a discussion going on that Triple H is potentially going to give Bill Goldberg his one final match and ride off into the sunset? I pray to God not. I hope that is not the case. I got bad chills, cold chills, not the good type of chills, thinking that WWE may potentially be building towards Bill Goldberg versus Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. I don't need to see that. Nobody needs to see that. I don't want to see that.
I don't
that
either.
Just sounds fucking terrible.
I know, right? Me neither. I don't want to see that. Fuck Bill Goldberg. This is WWE going back in the same old shit with Bill Goldberg giving him championship matches time and time again. What is the purpose of Bill Goldberg in the company when he keeps getting championship matches? I mean, his entire run has been getting massive, whether it's Kevin Owens, Brock Lesnar, Bray Wyatt, Braun Strowman, Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre, Roman Reigns. They all been championship matches. The only match that made sense was Dolph Ziggler at SummerSlam, because it was someone that wasn't gonna get hurt. It was just for fun. It was a fast pass match, and that was it. Last time we saw Bill Goldberg wrestle was against Roman Reigns at the Chamber in Saudi Arabia for the Universal title, and he lost in under 5 minutes. We haven't seen him in the ring since. And now you want to tease Bill Goldberg and Gunther? Are you fucking kidding me? Now it can't be for the title, because there's no fucking way Goldberg winning it. Unless you do like a nothing match for Saudi Arabia, I don't know. But either way, I don't want to see Goldberg in the fucking ring. No business being in the ring.
That's awful. That is legitimately a nightmare waiting to happen.
Fuck.
Nobody wants that.
Fuck Bill Goldberg.
Hopefully that is nothing more than a spot for tonight's show and nothing more. We move on.
Exactly.
Now,
oh my
championship title for the men and the women that we are
Let me-
now
let me
simply
find you one.
calling the Crown Jewel Championship that will be defended or competed for at Crown Jewel. It will be champion versus champion. World champion versus world champion. So that means right now the way things are shaping up, Cody Rhodes will go one-on-one with Gunther at Crown Jewel in 4 weeks. Now, from me to you, everybody knows me as the Triple H shill, right? There's memes online about me and Triple H and all these other nonsensical fucking fictional tales that people want to, spread about me. Oh, JD's on the payroll. I mean, I'm waiting for my fucking check. I don't know where it is. It might have gotten lost in the mail. Maybe I'll buy myself a double Dark Horse whenever I get my fictional check from Paul Levesque. Not everything Triple H does is gold. This This is a terrible idea. This is a terrible idea.
I know what.
WWE could have simply gone with the same plan of action that they've done with the previous Saudi shows. Now, the Saudi shows in the previous administration, they were nothing more than spectacles for the sake of, hey, give us $75 million and we'll put on a show. It doesn't have to make sense. They're paying us for a good time, and that's what they did.
That's what the Saudi show used to be when it first was here back in 2018. It used to be part timers and veterans in their 50s. Like, we used to book a Bill Goldberg in a match, Brock Lesnar have a match with Cain Velasquez and Tyson Fury. Cain Velasquez. Then Tyson Fury had a match that was shit. We had The Undertaker and Kane against Triple H and Shawn Michaels. That was shit. Then we had Goldberg and The Undertaker. It used to be part timers and veterans until they changed it. And Saudi Arabia was decent. I mean, last year was decent.
Matches that didn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Matches that didn't make sense. Give them whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah.
Robbing them blind. They don't give a fuck. I mean, this is the same government that asked for the Ultimate Warrior and Yokozuna to be in the fucking greatest Royal Rumble. WWE, for the past couple of Saudi shows, I would say over the last 12 to 18 months, WWE has given us some damn good Saudi shows. They fit into the WWE calendar. They fit into the storylines that they were telling on TV. They made it a part of the show. They made it a part of the build. I don't know what the mentality is here. I don't. From me to you, from my eyes to your ears, the only thing I can think of is that they want to have a show that doesn't impede or get in the way of what they're doing for Survivor Series. There's a lot of stories that they need to tell going into Survivor Series. And from my point of view, Triple H is probably thinking, I don't want to book for Triple H. If there's one thing I can say for certain, if I'm a betting man, I'm putting all my money on what I'm about to say right now. Triple H knows these Saudi shows are bullshit. But what can he do? It's not up to him. It's up to Ari Emanuel, and it's up to TKO. This is a decision that Khan made this deal, Vince McMahon made this deal. This is a deal that they are stuck into for the next 7 years. So what are they going to do? You think the current administration, which right now is operating completely different than the previous administration, operating under long-term storytelling and getting from one point and having it just matter over weeks and months of television. You think this administration wants to be bothered with a nothing show that they know is a nothing show, that they know is nothing more than a fucking easy cash grab? You think this administration wants to be bothered with this nonsense? Most of these shows mean nothing. They are nothing shows. WWE don't even sell tickets to these shows. They make no money off these shows outside what they're making from the Saudi government. They got a nice fixed fee. They get their money. They're in and out. But most of the stories that happens on these shows, they don't really matter in the grand scheme of things. They don't want major stories to be played out over there. Why would they? Yet the rumor is that a WrestleMania could potentially be going there. They don't want to hold WrestleMania there. God knows how much Saudi would be paying them to hold a WrestleMania there. But that's the way that I see it. Now, granted, that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
But this is a terrible idea.
Exactly.
It is. I'm done with the brand versus brand. I am. If you want to do something like that, Survivor Series is the place to do that. Have a Raw versus SmackDown multi-man tag team match if that's the case. Whatever is happening away from War Games, why don't you do that? Raw versus SmackDown could certainly be at the Survivor Series. I mean, it was once upon a time where Raw versus SmackDown went head-to-head the only time of the year. Meanwhile, they broke their own brand split rules fucking a dozen times or more during the year with no rhyme or reason, no care in the world. Yet we're supposed to believe, yeah, Survivor Series, where Raw vs. SmackDown goes head-to-head for the first time all year, pal! No. No, that's not the case. don't like this idea.
Me neither. It's terrible.
Because the idea of champion versus champion, the first thing that pops into my head is, well, who wins?
Yeah, I already went on this earlier.
Who wins? Triple H said there's going to be a decisive winner, a definitive winner. Who the fuck do you win? Gunther over Cody Rhodes. Who gets the win? Who gets the win?
They can't.
Cody or Gunther?
Neither man can lose. Gunther shouldn't be losing. Why the fuck should he be pinned clean? Cody Rhodes, I can see him being pinned because he's been pinned before a few times this year. I can see him getting screwed over by the Bloodline or Kevin Owens or The Rock if he wants to come back. They teased it tonight. But Gunther, he should not be being pinned. Actually, Gunther hadn't been pinned since WrestleMania. Why the fuck is he gonna be pinned? He should only be pinned until he drops the title. Why is he's not being pinned? Cody Rhodes can take the pinfall. I don't want to see the babyface go over. I think the heels will go over. Nia Jax is going over Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan not being Nia Jax. That's just not believable.
Sounds like a pro wrestling company booking themselves into a fucking very, very, very little corner, man. How are you going to get out of that one? So that's your men's match. The women's match is Nia Jax versus Liv Morgan.
That's a problem. They're both heels. Who the fuck wins that match?
Nobody wants to see that.
That's not interesting. That's not a money match. No one don't give a fuck. They're both heels. Who the fuck wins that match? Liv Morgan not winning over Nia Jax. First of all, that match is gonna be fucking boring. That's gonna be shit. Look, and Nia Jax had that to improve, but that's gonna be shit. I mean, the match he had with Bayley was actually shit. It was very lackluster.
WWE is giving us a Cody versus Gunther match, and there's no story. This is a match that I would have gladly waited for a proper story. That is a money match. That is a big-time match. The American Nightmare, the American Hero versus Gunther.
The Ring
The
General.
villain, the foreign villain from Austria.
Yeah, the Ring General.
Yeah, we'll give it away because it's Saudi and we're going to be creating this new trophy and you're going to be competing over that.
Who gives a fuck?
I don't like that at all, man.
This is a garbage.
I think that's awful.
WWE being lazy.
You want to do brand versus brand? Then you do it away from the championships because you're only booking yourselves into a corner and making more problems for each other. And you do it at Survivor Series, a traditional 5-on-5 or a 4-on-4, or you want to do something along those. And we're going to do champion versus champion. You're asking for mistakes. You're asking for trouble when you start doing shit like that. And honestly, I don't think that this is an idea by this administration. I don't think this is an idea by WWE. I think that they were forced into this. I think they had their hand forced. And I think they were forced to create this fucking meaningless title for the sake of the Saudi government. Saudi wanted something else. Saudi wanted a special attraction for their show only, and they paid for it, and WWE didn't have any other way to go about it. They already got King and Queen of the Ring. They already got championships on both shows. Now you're going to add this on top of that. So WWE every year, you could see what they're doing. They're trying to give these shows some level of importance while not having a lot to do with story going into each show. So you got the King and Queen in the Ring, which is going to be something that we get next year. And then you got this nonsense.
Exactly.
WWE ain't doing anything super special on these shows. You're going to get these two major championship matches, and then you're going to get some B-level shit that happens on the undercard. 5 matches in and out, and then we go back to the United States and start building towards Survivor Series.
Exactly.
But once you start meddling in that champion versus champion nonsense, you're asking for trouble. I don't like it.
Me neither. I
don't like it.
This is terrible.
I just got done talking about long-term booking, and here we are booking Gunther versus Cody Rhodes. They're on opposite brands. What story is there going to be? How am I supposed to care about this when I'm getting this match with no heat?
Exactly. They're just fucking lazy. Now, is Cody gonna show up on Raw? Is Gunner gonna show up on SmackDown? That makes no sense. Why should they trade back and forth? What the hell are they doing? Gunter wrestling Sami Zayn, they're teasing Braun Breaker. Cody Rhodes, he gonna be going after Kevin Owens. I think WWE gonna be lazy. Don't tell me that you're doing what Vince did with the Survivor Series and the Championship versus Championship. Survivor Series 2021 was the worst Survivor Series because there was no build, no heat, there was no date, there was nothing on the line. Matches were thrown together. I mean, no one gives a fuck about the champion versus champions. Who gives a shit? And who fucking wins? I don't want to see Gunther lose. Cody Rhodes shouldn't lose. But since Cody Rhodes won on this pay-per-view, I think he's losing on Crown Jewels. You might get screwed over. Liv Morgan, Nia Jax, no one gonna give a fuck about that. That gonna be shit. And they're both heels. So who's acting for the cheer for? What's the story? What's the heat? Why should we give a fuck? Liv Morgan is feuding with Rhea Ripley.
Because Saudi asked for something special for their shows. Yeah, let me create some bullshit title and put two of our biggest names in a match with no story going into it. I can't get behind that, bro. I can't get behind that. It would be unfair of me to do that when I criticize AEW for doing that, so now I'm criticizing WWE. This shit sucks. You don't give away a match like that for these people for that championship when it means nothing to your television show.
You know, no one's gonna care about this Crown Jewel Championship title because I think we'll only see it once on the pay-per-view, and then we won't see it again until the next Crown Jewel, and then it's gonna be worthless. It's gonna be just like Braun Strowman's small-ass title he won at the Great Rumble all those years ago. When he won that title after winning the Great Rumble in Saudi Arabia, and then we didn't see that title ever again. That's what I think we're gonna happen here.
Not a match like that.
Yeah.
Terrible, terrible, terrible decision.
Yeah, this is gonna be garbage. I can already tell.
DDP, Mickie James, and Scott Steiner were in the crowd.
There are a lot of legends in the crowd tonight.
They showed legends all night. Goldberg just got his hand raised by Triple H. And then they showed DDP, Mickie James, and Scott Steiner. Breathe. In walks Chelsea Green. She didn't understand why they were all grossed out. Belair looked. The shark cage was suspended over the aisle. It's like I said, the Hell in the Cell was still hanging above. Rhea Ripley was amused because grabs a kendo stick. She's bashing him with the kendo stick in the aisleway. Referee's not counting. I guess it's referee's discretion. Like Rhea Ripley had the referee in her back pocket. Paid him off. So while all this is happening, all of a sudden, he's getting killed with a kendo stick. Rhea Ripley's beating the shit out of Dominic. Raquel Rodriguez comes out of nowhere. She's wearing all black. She blasts Rhea Ripley from behind, causes a disqualification. She rolls Rhea Ripley back in the ring. She does her finish, which is a one-arm power bomb. She calls it the Tejana bomb. Rhea Ripley's laid out. Liv Morgan's already in the ring. Raquel takes Liv, places her on top of Rhea. The ref already called for the bell. So I don't know what the fucking point of throwing Liv on top of Rhea was. Michael Cole on commentary says, well, clearly that's not a pin. That's going to be a statement pin instead of being a legit pin.
What? What?
I don't know what I'm watching.
Me neither.
I didn't know if Dominic was...
I don't know if that was playing. Get the commercials out of here.
Come back here. Liv Morgan said on Monday, I might not be bigger than you. I might not be stronger than you. I said this on Monday. I knew this was going to come into play. You might be bigger than me. You might be stronger than me, but you're not smarter than me. And they really did play up the history between Liv and Raquel and Rhea. They really played that up. So I expected her in this match at some point. But the way that they went about it, man, what the fuck what did they do?
They were garbage.
What was that?
They were shit.
Man, did they make Raquel look like a fucking dummy out there? The referee already rang for the fucking, like she was lost. The referee rang for the bell. She delivers this finish and then covers Raquel, covers Rhea with Liv. Was that supposed to be the ending of the match and the referee wasn't supposed to see it? Did Dominic go out there, supposed to fall? The referee was supposed to be distracted by this, and then Raquel, I don't know, man. I don't know what the fucking ending was supposed to be.
I know, right?
I knew Raquel was going to be out there, but the way that they went about it, man, did they just... The whole fucking ending to this was just botched. The bell rings, it's a DQ, the fans are upset, the fans don't really remember Raquel, they don't give a shit about Raquel. She got little to zero reaction out there, man.
Exactly.
She died 1,000 deaths out there.
That crowd didn't give a shit.
Sure, it makes sense. I'm sure we'll hear about it on Monday. But they didn't know who she was.
Because she been on TV for all these months.
That's what happens when you throw someone out there, the crowd doesn't really know.
Yeah, because she hadn't been you. We haven't seen her since February. I mean, the crowd didn't give a shit about Raquel. She's not over. They haven't done shit with her on the main roster. Besides teaming up with Liv Morgan. And winning tag team titles. Then she was injured and she came back. She's been off TV. Hopefully a new character renew.
This was bad.
It was garbage. It was shit.
Bad. If that was the ending, it should have been the ending. Raquel should have covered Rhea with Liv after the Tejana bomb. I don't know what the fuck happened in the lead up, but I think Raquel was supposed to do that and Liv was supposed to pick it. I don't think this match was supposed to be ended in a DQ. Convoluted and bad.
Yeah, it was shit.
This was not good.
Yeah.
Don't know where they go from here. I don't know how they go into Crown Jewel. I'm sure we'll get Rhea versus Raquel. Don't know what they do with Survivor Series. It's going to be interesting how they play this up leading into the rest of the year, because I said it. I thought Rhea would win the championship months ago. I said, Bad Blood's coming out. I think Rhea wins the title. Then I changed my mind because I start to look at the Monday Night Raw women's roster. It's like, who else is there? If Rhea wins the championship and ends this storyline beating Liv, what else is there? What does Liv do? And who does Rhea defend that championship against? People already cried that Rhea's title run before she was injured and had to vacate the title. She didn't do anything with the title. Her reign was unmemorable. Nobody remembers a fucking thing from her title run.
Outside Becky Lynch.
Getting injured was probably the best thing for the entire division and Liv Morgan and this storyline. So you want to go back and do that and put the title on Rhea? What does she do after that? Who's next? What does she do? These are questions that were obviously asked. They didn't come up with anything, and they opted to keep the title on Liv Morgan. When does Liv drop the title? I don't know. Series, Saturday night's main event. Does she drop it at the Royal Rumble? I'm predicting that we get the rest of the year with Liv Morgan as champion. Then you're going to start to get the arguments, because I see it already. Liv, you're going to get the arguments from social media and the geeks online. Liv deserves to take the title into WrestleMania. Do they go that far? Do they have enough to get Liv and Rhea at WrestleMania for the Women's Championship? I don't know.
I don't know about that.
I don't know. But how they got about this ending here in this match, not good. Not good. Probably the worst match of the entire show.
Yeah.
Main event. The University of Arkansas marching band played Cody Rhodes to the ring. Speaking of bad, I could not decipher what the fuck they were tooting and touting on their trombones and on their... Michael Cole called this the biggest match of Cody Rhodes' life. Really?
What?
The biggest match of Cody Rhodes' life, said Michael Cole. I love Michael Cole. I think Michael Cole's great, but you're going to blatantly lie to me and tell me that this match tonight is the biggest match of Cody Rhodes' life?
Then what the fuck did we see at WrestleMania? I mean, I think Michael Cole may have to go back and look at WrestleMania this year. Wasn't that the biggest match of his life with Roman Reigns? How about the tag team match they had on night one with The Rock and Roman Reigns?
After what he just went through at WrestleMania 40?
Exactly.
Who says that? One thing of note. This is what I watch. This is what I see when I'm doing my thing. Did you guys see who came out first? Obviously, we got the Bloodline. We got Jacob Fatu out there. We got Soul. They're standing in the ring. They're waiting for the big guns to come on out. Did you see who came out first when they were about to do Cody and Roman's entrance? Who came out first? It was Cody. We got the University of Arkansas marching band playing Cody Rhodes to the ring. Cody came out first. He did his whole spiel, wearing that awful, terrible-looking mask, which I hope he just burns. It's awful. It's fucking comedic. And then Roman Reigns comes out. Did you guys notice the difference between Cody and Roman? Did you guys notice the ambiance, the environment, the difference between Cody and Roman? I don't wanna put negative bad juju on Cody Rhodes. And I don't want to say anything off color because I think Cody's great. Some of them, some of you guys don't like Cody. Some of you do love Cody.
We don't need to.
But the way that I saw things, man, it's the fucking little things that just add up. WWE sent Cody Rhodes out there first. He's the WWE champion. He should come out last. Theoretically, he should be the last guy because he's the most important. He's holding the biggest title in the industry. Comes out first. Roman Reigns comes out second. Who do you think WWE is their biggest star? Certainly ain't fucking Cody Rhodes. Even as the WWE champion, even on this night, WWE threw it in everybody's face. Yeah, he's our number one guy, but he's number 1B. Roman is our number 1A.
Logan Paul, they want they were too soon.
That's the way I saw it.
Great man, but they
if he was the biggest deal in WWE, he would have came out second. And yeah, you may think it's not that big of a deal. They're both even. They're on the same team. They both got big entrances. No. Roman, in the eyes of WWE, is their biggest star, even without the title. Bell rang. I felt like I was waiting forever for this match to start. Roman had to ask Cody Rhodes if he really wanted to start the match at least 10 different times. I was on my phone. I was tweeting about what had happened before. I look up and I'm like, did the bell ring? Why hasn't nobody threw a wrestling hold yet? Rhodes eventually started against Fatu, which is another match I would love to see one-on-one. Rhodes quickly hit some big offense. Fatu no-sold it. Solo entered without a tag. Reigns entered. He evened the odds. Crowd chanted OTC. And then they started chanting, fuck you, Solo! It's nice when it's on PLE and you don't have black screens and fucking muted audience. Solo legally tagged in. In comes Reigns. First time he's been in the ring wrestling since WrestleMania. Crowd cheered. Solo at the edge. Fatu entered. As soon as Reigns got some offense, Fatu into the ring post, just like Umaga. Just like...
Gets back in the ring after the match. And they played Cody to the ring over his regular theme. Then we had the Georgia Philharmonic Orchestra playing Roman Reigns to the ring. So both babyfaces got special entrances here for the main event. Michael Cole mentioned that Ole Anderson turning on Dusty Rhodes during a match against the Roman jumped off the apron on his own. got a stalemate with all four men. Solo tagged in, Reigns tagged in. So we had Roman Reigns against Solo, and Solo had the edge for a little bit. Fatu got into the ring. Now in the ring, Solo Sikoa is yelling at Roman Reigns, talking all kinds of trash to him, and he's threatening to hit the... Look, it's your call. I'll do whatever you do. I'll do whatever you want. And so Roman decides, all right, let's go back and save him. So Roman and Jimmy, they run back his face, like covering his mouth and his nose. So you can't really see who it is. But then he takes out Tama Tonga with a super kick. And he takes out Tonga Loa with a super kick. And then he lowers the hood and he removes the bandana and he reveals Jimmy Uso. We have not seen Jimmy Uso since after WrestleMania. Whenever it was that he got taken out by Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga. Like, it was so long ago that I don't even think Tonga Loa was a thing yet. It was probably like mid-April on SmackDown. Even Tonga Loa, I don't think, had debuted. We have not seen Jimmy in a very long time. So the crowd popped huge seeing him because it has been so long. And Solo can't believe it. And he ends up getting speared by Roman Reigns and pinned. Roman and Cody. They're like the modern day mega powers here. All these embrace to a big pop. Roman looks over at Cody, who's now back in the ring, sitting in the corner. Roman looks over at Cody. Jimmy looks over at Cody. Cody gets up to his feet. And he walks towards the center of the ring. He and Roman, they're locked eye to eye. And Roman ends up leaving with Jimmy. Cody is left in the ring all by himself, but only for a short period of time, because you can see as Roman and Jimmy are leaving, Cody gets jumped in the background. Not the only time Cody would be jumped tonight. We'll get to that in a second. But Cody gets jumped by the Bloodline in the ring, and now he's getting beaten down. And in the aisleway, Jimmy is telling Roman, come on, we got to go. We got to go, make the save. And Roman's like, that was a one-time offer. Because Jimmy's like, you told him you would watch his back, right? You would watch Cody's back. And Roman's like, it was a one-time offer. And Jimmy says, look, it's your call. I'll do whatever you do. I'll do whatever you want. And so Roman decides, all right, let's go back and save him. So Roman and Jimmy, they run back to the ring. Jimmy super kicked Tonga Loa. He super kicked Solo Sikoa. Reigns then drops Solo with a Superman punch. And at that point, the Bloodline bailed into the crowd. Reigns picks up the WWE Championship. And he's staring at the title. And then he finally hands it back to Cody. And Cody raises the WWE title above his head when all of a sudden we hear a very familiar piece of music for the final boss. And Atlanta comes unglued because The Rock is at Bad Blood. Now, there were rumors going into this show. You saw the Pat McAfee clip when Cody was on Pat's show probably, right, the other day. And Pat made a comment, I think it was after the show was over. And he went over to Cody. He was shaking his hand and said, hey, I hear the big guy's coming back. Cody said, what big guy? And McAfee was like, all right, like, okay, about Ryback. And I couldn't understand, why are people asking me about Ryback? And then I realized it's because Pat McAfee said the big guy. Big back. Back to WWE. I'm sure CM Punk would love that. The big guy. So here he comes. The Rock enters, standing on stage. He's got his vest on. He's got his People's Championship belt draped over his shoulder. Cody, Roman, Jimmy, they're all in the ring watching from afar. Rock raises his eyebrow. Then he raises his finger in the air. 1, 2, 3. And then he does the throat slash. and then he heads to the back. And that is how Bad Blood went off the air. Quite the cliffhanger. Quite the cliffhanger ending for this show. And now you're left with more questions than answers. For example, what did the throat slash mean? Was the throat slash a sign to Roman and Jimmy? Because you're helping Cody. You're making the save for Cody Rhodes. Like, we're done here. Is that what it meant? Or what I think, was it intended for Cody? And it was more a sign of, for Cody, like 1, 2, 3, meaning I pinned you at WrestleMania, and I'm going to pin you again. And I told you I'm coming to that WWE Championship. Because the last time we saw The Rock was on Raw. And he asked Cody, can I hold the title? Remember that weird segment? Like, and Cody's like, I'll let you hold mine if you let me hold yours. I'm like, hey, whatever you do in private is your business. It was just a very weird segment. But that was likely a message that was directed more to Cody than anybody else, but we don't know. But he did tell Cody, look, you and me, our story is just beginning. So it's going to have everybody talking heading into TV this week, which is the whole point of doing it at the end of the show like they did. This is why CM Punk and Drew McIntyre opened Bad Blood, and they did not close the show with Hell in a Cell. And it was really the only thing that could justify them not going with Hell in a Cell to close out the show. Because that was easily the best thing on the entire show. They deserved to close the show, just given the gravity of their feud. But obviously, if The Rock is going to come back and make a surprise appearance, you don't do that in the opening of the show. That would be fucking stupid. So, thankfully, they at least had good reason to do what they did. The match itself, I thought, was really good. It was not nearly as good as the opener, but it was easily, by far, the second best thing on the entire show. And it was really carried by the star power in the match. Cody and Roman tagging for the first time. That was the draw. Solo Sikoa is not the draw. Jacob Fatu was great, but he's still too new to be the draw. The draw was Roman in his first match back since WrestleMania. The draw was Roman teaming with Cody for the very first time. Roman got that hot tag. That's really where the crowd came alive, like really alive for the first time. Is when Roman got that hot tag into the match. It was cool to see Fatu in there with Roman. They did not give too much away. They had very little interaction, really, when you think about it. I've said it before, I'll say it again. This is a WrestleMania. And that doesn't mean Las Vegas. It may not be a WrestleMania match in 2025, but mark my words, it will be a WrestleMania match at some point, without question. So seeing them in there, even just a little bit of he was upset because Roman Reigns lost at WrestleMania. He lost the championship. Everything was built around that title. And he lost. And it was Solo who, and he may not have been the first person to say this, but he definitely reiterated it. I think Paul Heyman said it once, and then Solo also said that, losing has consequences. Well, keep that in mind when I point out to you the fact that Solo Sikoa lost at SummerSlam. He lost the rematch in the cage to Cody Rhodes. And he just lost again tonight for his team. So if we are led to believe that actions have consequences, winning and losing has consequences, winning and losing matters, where do the consequences come into play here for Solo Sikoa? Because for all the losing that this man has done, he has brought great shame to his bloodline. You would think that he would be excommunicated from the bloodline. Maybe his enforcer will turn on him, right? At what point does that become part of the story? And maybe it happens on TV this week where Solo gets confronted by his own bloodline, like winning and losing has consequences. And Solo ends up getting a taste of his own medicine. Maybe he has to go crawling back to the OG bloodline and say, you know what? You're right. I made a mistake. I'm sorry. He's coming back with his hat in hand, looking for forgiveness, begging for forgiveness. Maybe we do get some version of the OG bloodline against the new bloodline. Maybe Hikuleo does come to the main roster instead of NXT. Like, there's any number of ways that this could go. But I'm just thinking back to what Solo himself said. And you would think that after this, yet another big loss for this guy, at what point in the story does this not become an issue? Like, it should be an issue this Friday. Because if not, I just think that's completely ridiculous. What does this mean for War Games? You know, Jimmy is back finally. Maybe we are going to get some kind of bloodline match in the War Games. Again, Jimmy is back, but Jey Uso is the Intercontinental Champion right now on Monday Night Raw and still has had nothing to say about any of this bloodline stuff. He has not been a part of it. He has not been name dropped. He has not said anything about it. He is off doing his own thing. I just don't know how they're going to go about roping him back in. He'll be involved in this at some point, but is now the time? It doesn't feel like now is the time. It feels like right now he's doing his own thing. He's doing okay. So I don't know how he factors into this, if at all. You've got Roman and Jimmy on one side, Solo, Fatu, and the Tongans are on the other. Where does The Rock fall in all this? Whose side is he on? Doesn't mean that Rock is going to wrestle at Survivor Series, but we are heading into Survivor Series and War Games. And, you know, what side is he going to end up on? Is he still going to be with Roman? He hasn't really split from Roman. Is he still going to be on their side? Or is he going to take the side of Solo, you know, and his crew? Or do we find out that he's the one who's been pulling the strings all along? Trying to usurp Roman, even though, you know, in the bloodline, Rock ranks higher than Roman does because he's a high chief. But we don't know. We don't know which side of the aisle Rock is going to fall on. So there's a lot of questions that have yet to be answered. That's what TV is for. That's why you got to tune into the TV show. Discussions and these.
Hey, what the hell? Oh, come on. What in the hell just happened? I'm on this damn cable. Hold on a second. Everything's all black and too dark. Oh, come on. What the hell with that? What in the hell with that? Come on. What in the hell is going on here? Why the hell did it turn off? What the hell is going on with this damn connection? I'm very sorry for this. This is technical difficulties. My TV just turned off. Something wrong with the connection or the network, the internet. I don't know why they're doing this. They would have done this. And no one doesn't do this. Come on now, turn it on already, damn it. I gotta wait for the crap. Get my damn nerves. Let's go, man. Hurry up. Very sorry for my fans and my new subscribers who are watching this right now. This is some BS. It's like mad dark. Come on. Oh my goodness. What in the hell is going on here? Is it not coming up? What the hell is going on? I don't know what the hell is going on, man. This is some BS. Hold on. Alright.
Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
I don't want this damn commercial, damn it.
Apple. I know you guys want.
Alright, hold on. I'm gonna have to skip some of this. I am very sorry for that. add go my different YouTube channel.
Because he's the most important. He's holding the biggest title in the industry. Comes out first. Rope before turning on Cody. I think KO has more than enough reason to turn on Cody if you
Hold on.
do a complete stop. See one guy standing there at ringside wearing a hoodie. He's got a mask on, bandana covering his face. All you see is his eyes. He got a big black hoodie on. I'm like, that's gotta be Jimmy. It's gotta be Jimmy. He super kicked Tamatonga and Tangaloa. It ended up being Jimmy Uso. Crowd erupted. Reigns, Spears, Solo. And that was enough for the win. Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns beats the bloodline of Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa with the help of Jimmy Uso. Roman Reigns and Jimmy hugged after the match was over. OG bloodline. At least 2/3 of the OG bloodline now back together. Rhodes got to his feet. He was holding his WWE Championship belt. He had a stare down with Roman Reigns. Jimmy and Roman were on one side. Cody was on the other. Roman's looking at the title. There was no embrace, no handshake, no pat on the back, no thank you. Roman kept his word to Cody. Cody fought his ass off to help Roman. They're even. So the bloodline all of a sudden attacks Cody in the ring as Roman and Jimmy start walking up the aisleway. So 4-on-1 attack. They're about to decimate the WWE champion. Jimmy stops Roman in the aisleway and says, "Oos, we can't let this happen. We got to go help him." Roman doesn't know what to do. He's not moving a muscle. Jimmy's trying to convince him. Tell him, we got to do the right thing. We got to do the right thing. He helped us. We got to help him. They eventually go and help Cody Rhodes. They fend off the bloodline. They retreat, and they save Cody Rhodes. All of a sudden, Reigns picked up the WWE title. He looked at it with this loving embrace. He wants it back. He hands it to Cody. And then all of a sudden, the final boss, The Rock, comes out. The Rock has his own People's Championship that we last saw him with, draped over his shoulder. He stands on the stage. People went crazy. Got the big entrance. He's standing there with the spotlight on him. The music stops. Reigns, Rhodes, and Jimmy are watching from the ring. And The Rock raised his eyebrow. Camera zooms in on The Rock. He raises his eyebrow and does the finger slash, the thumb slash across the throat. And then he walks away. And then the show goes off the air. They quickly went off the air. I guess they didn't want to overstep their boundary with UFC 307 happening at the same time. That's the way the show went off. I'm like, Rock's got to say something. Rock's got to get in the ring. We got to get some stare down in the ring with The Rock. He's going to be there with the rest of them. He came out on the stage. He did the throat slash. He walks away, and then the show goes off the air. Now, there was a rumor that he would be back because he was at Appalachia High School about an hour and a half away from Atlanta, and he was there watching their big football game last night. And obviously, WWE, with him being in Georgia, I think everybody kind of clued in on, well, I think that means Rock is going to show up at Bad Blood, because if he's already in Georgia, why wouldn't he be at Bad Blood? WWE likes to kind of low-key announce, well, Rock is doing something 3 hours away, but he's in the same state. The fuck is he in the same state for? He's doing something to kind of sway people from thinking if he's going to be at the WWE show or not, and he ends up being there. But we all know The Rock being back is better television. We all been waiting for The Rock. We've been waiting for The Rock to be back on television since his embrace with Cody on the Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania, where he shook his hand, gave him back whatever Cody gifted him, which I'm assuming is the Rolex. And he looked at Cody and said, "Don't break my heart again." I don't know what he meant by that. I don't know what he handed Cody back. I think it's the Rolex that Cody gifted him before WrestleMania. I don't know where The Rock looks at Cody and Roman and kind of pieces together where he broke his heart. Maybe teaming with Roman. Maybe he feels the family turned his back on him. I don't know if Rock is going to be on Friday night. We got Jimmy back. That's Jimmy being back and KO attacking Cody is more than enough for SmackDown to be must-see on Friday. I don't know if Rock is going to be on Friday night. He should be. So hopefully we get that. Maybe he shows up on Monday. I have no fucking clue, being that they announced Cody versus Gunther for Crown Jewel. Maybe he shows up on Monday. I don't fucking know. I would like to think so. Anytime we get The Rock, his story is going to take precedent. Now we're moving the Bloodline story. Must see. It's been kind of dragging its feet for the last few months, just waiting for The Rock to get back. Does The Rock have anything to do with KO turn? I don't think so.
You won't have.
I think after seeing what he saw tonight, I think KO just had enough. He wasn't on Friday night. What does Randy Orton have to say about that? Randy tried to get in between them on Friday 2 weeks ago because Randy was going to talk to KO and let KO know that Cody said, listen, I asked him to be out there. If we need him, he's going to be out there. KO didn't really get clued in on that, which kind of opened my eyes. But did Randy go and tell KO? Sounds like he didn't. So to KO, Cody came out there and kind of fucked things up. He's just tired. I don't think The Rock has anything to do with KO turning on Cody. I think KO has more than enough reason to turn on Cody if he wants to turn on Cody for what happened over the last 4 years and seeing how Cody is now operating. He's put his life on the line for Cody, and Cody is just blatantly teaming with the people that kind of ruined his entire last 4 years. Things are starting to pick up. This is exactly what SmackDown needs. So I'm very interested to see where they go with SmackDown on Friday. It's Crown Jewel Championship now being announced. We'll get more of that on Monday. Gunther and Sami Zayn on Monday in the main event. Jey Uso will defend against Xavier Woods on Monday. Pete Dunne versus Sheamus on Monday. 2-hour Raw on Monday, which should be great. Friday, it's going to be interesting to see what they announce. It's going to be interesting to see what they announce. He did JD, says Michael Howman. Cody and KO thing. What does Randy think? Jimmy's back. Rock is back. This is exactly what SmackDown needed. So,
Yep.
As far as the open and the close, great. Story. Can't wait. But everything in the middle, Nia Bailey, didn't really care. The way it played off, didn't care. They botched. And then Tiffany didn't cash in. Kind of ruined it for me. Balor and Priest felt like a TV match. I would have put them on Raw and Gunther and Sammy on the PLE. And Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan, I don't know what the fuck that ending was. Thumbs down. Worst match of the night. I don't want to say it's a thumbs down show. It's a thumbs up show just based off the sheer quality, open and the close, but everything in the middle, man, very up in the air, very lackluster, very subjective. But I thought overall, Bad Blood was a thumbs up show just based off what we got in the beginning and the end. Guys, thank you very much for all of your support.
Well, now let me show you Fightful Wrestling. Let's see what Sean WhatsApp had to say.
Kind of.
I'm the household CFO, managing where the money needs to go. When I first learned about what Ford black truck and was just chilling. So we will get that later. But FightfulSelect.com got some updates on some missing talent, so to speak.
I'm just like, well, first I don't like the question.
To Jeff Hardy's gear, but also Triple H and Kevin Nash did that back in the day. There were some little callbacks and all that stuff, but the spot on the stairs, like that's the one that you mentioned. That's one that everybody can relate to, like champion versus champion. But I'm interested in your thoughts as a fan when you watch somebody interfere and their music hits. to me, I'm like, okay, I get it. That one of the things that honestly AEW's had a big problem with it in recent years, but WWE,
I agree, and I hope so too.
and I mean, it kind of felt like that.
Well, that was like that's a really beautiful title, but again, the sentiment I think is bullshit. I think it's just another way to stroke the Saudis. I just think it's another money grab, and I just think you're putting some time into. I understand you'll get a lot of money there, but also understand your audience and understand the women of your company and you know how they are treated. So I think last year, last Crown Jewel, I think they gave more of a reaction for.
Love the way the title belt looks.
That's nice.
I was shocked. Like 90% of the people that I saw on Twitter hated everything about it. The way the title belt looked, the sentiment, the event, everything, and I completely understand hating the event for sure. But it'll be one of those things that I will wait and see how this one plays out because this regime has at least earned a little bit of optimism for me in that regard. Now, if this was under Vince McMahon, I'd be like, well, this is stupid. This sucks. But I guess we'll see.
I will say, I like the belt is just bigger than all the other.
The way they're letting Goldberg spear this guy 2 days before he's got a world title match, because who knows how that would go if that were the case. So security breaks them up. Sami Zayn comes out. Sammy and Gunther brawl. Do you have any interest in a potential like WrestleMania match between Gunther and Goldberg if it happens? If they go that direction? Because Goldberg has said he wants one more match.
Unfortunately, yes, just because of the way that it was built. That's it. If this didn't happen, I would have been like, why? Why are you doing this? You could give this to somebody else.
After seeing the way that Sting got his send off, I am big now on people getting their send off. Even if I don't like Goldberg as a performer, like I feel like people who contribute to the industry should get an appropriate send off, whether it's win, lose, draw, whatever it is. And it's abundantly clear based on his interviews that Goldberg wants a different kind of send off than what he got. So I hope he gets it. I really do hope that he gets it. And
Going to put Gunther over. I think that 100% of what I think he can beat anybody else, but
would have won a significant amount of money because defeating the bloodline. We'll go through the sort of layers of this match, Vinny. Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns were favored to win by BetOnline. AG are great partners. Jimmy Uso was favored to return, and I believe The Rock was also favored to pop up. Thank you to our great partners at BetOnline. But the entrance, we had two of them. We had the sort of the school band, as that got very popular about a month ago with Cody Rhodes. It seemed like there was a little bit of a snafu there in going from that to his music. And I think they caught somebody, I think they caught the Philharmonic pretending to play drums. I thought that was funny. But I like that they're adding, like, even if it's a little performative, like, I love that they're doing this and making it feel as special and big as possible. If you're going to put 5 matches on a show, let's add as much to them as we can. What did you think of these special entrances?
yeah, I thought Cody's entrance was really good. Before I go on,
Here. And considering the number and the spike, considering the number of ingredients in this match, there was plenty of time to get there. And it's fine. He's throwing super kicks.
I can see
At Georgia Tech to make this happen.
then
Listen, we found out live on the air.
Phillips Latte Go for coffee from freshly ground beans.
Fun to watch.
Now let's go back and finish with Salamander.
Strings all along, trying to usurp Roman, even though, you know, in the bloodline, Brock ranked. Going on tonight. We've recapped it all. We don't have answers to all these questions, but we will find out soon. Good score. Fuck that.
Alright, might will just end the video. Until next time, I'll be back with more. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all the support. I will see y'all later. Gonna end the video.